We are, if you can believe it, just 21 days out from Election Day. Early voting begins today in one of the critical swing states, Georgia. Former President Bill Clinton, the last Democrat before Joe Biden to flip that state blue, campaigned in the Peach State for Kamala Harris yesterday.
You have to realize it is literally possible that the whole election could be decided here.
That's right.
It is possible.
Yes, it is.
There are 7 states where the election is too close to call.
One of them, though, is perhaps more important than the rest. Both Kamala Harris and Donald Trump campaigned in Pennsylvania yesterday. Harris going after Trump for his recent comments referring to some Americans as, quote, enemies from within.
Donald Trump is increasingly unstable and unhinged. And he is out for unchecked power. That's what he's looking for. He wants to send the military after American citizens.
So there's Harris on the one hand. Donald Trump, on the other hand, turned his event into a dance party yesterday after 2 people suffered medical emergencies at the event.
Go and vote. Let me hear that music, please.
Everyone, let's thank President
loud,
Trump.
Nice and loud. So play YMCA. Go ahead. Let's go. Nice and loud.
Here we go, everybody.
So CNN's reporter at the event did say there appeared to be some confusion about what was happening while he was up there on the stage. Our panel's here: Jonah Goldberg, CNN political commentator, co-founder of The Dispatch; Elliot Williams, CNN legal analyst, former federal prosecutor; Kate Bedingfield, former White House communications director and a CNN political commentator; and Brad Todd, Republican strategist and a partner in On Message. Welcome to all of you. Maybe we should, I don't know, bring back a little bit more YMCA. We could like put a little bit of VO there.
Just put on music for 52 minutes and just
sway.
sit
And
and
just
sway.
sway.
Look,
You know?
viewers
Supposed to be
can't,
the Joy campaign.
viewers can't see them, but you have all these balloons up here and you never drop them.
Oh, really? Yeah, we should put some balloons. That would be fun. But seriously, I mean, I'm interested in this because, I mean, I don't even know how many dozens, hundreds of campaign events I have covered in my career. I have never seen anything like this. I've never seen a candidate do anything like this.
It's strange. It sounds like he got a little fed up with taking questions and went with an unorthodox way of getting around taking questions. Look, I think this whole election, we're getting, the contrast you're seeing between these campaigns is that I think the Harris people, for understandable reasons, are very frustrated that most Americans, or half of America, doesn't see the Donald Trump that they see. And their basic argument is, look at the guy who actually is there, not the guy that you have nostalgia for the pre-COVID economy. And that's a very hard argument to make because people think they're eyewitnesses to what the next Trump presidency is going to be like. And I think it's going to be a different presidency.
And moreover, those of you who are nostalgic for the Trump presidency and the Trump economy, you're forgetting all of the other things that come along with when Trump is president. Even if you have these fond memories of what your pocketbook looked like at the time, do you remember 2020? Do you remember what America was like? Do you remember how you felt at the time? There was a lot of craziness and silliness that we saw here. But again, I think there's that frustration that something is not coming through to that, whatever percentage of Americans just aren't buying it.
I tell you what, though, as an analyst, I look at the juxtaposition there, and the campaign that's having the most fun usually is the one that feels best about itself. And I know a lot of Republicans were a little worried because Donald Trump wasn't having a whole lot of fun in September, and he was grumpy, he was grousing. You still see it poke through every once in a while. I think a lot of people will be happy to see a Trump that's having fun on the trail because it indicates that he's more confident about where the election's going.
Maybe, but also, is he running through the tape here? I mean, you combine this like concert yesterday with he's campaigning in California, he's campaigning in New York. I mean, is he really like hustling for the voters that he needs in the final push here? There's a lot of chatter about, is Harris doing enough to run through the tape? I don't know that you could really argue that Donald Trump is. But I also think we're going to see the shift from Harris back into a more aggressive prosecution of the case against Trump. Because, look, when you are running against somebody who, should be a historically unpopular opponent, you do have to use that against them. I know there's a lot of back and forth about has she done enough to make the case for herself? And yes, that's true. You have to give people something to vote for. But it would be malpractice to abandon making these points about the kind of fundamental threat that Trump poses to democracy. I mean, you have to use your opponent's vulnerabilities against them, and I hope we're going to see her do that over this final 3 weeks here.
I think that's a trap for her. All voters' worries about Donald Trump in that regard are baked in. And the candidates need to fight over what they're going to do in the next 4 years.
I agree there has to be a forward-looking element to the message, but I think we've seen, for example, when Vance wouldn't say in the VP debate, that Donald Trump lost in 2020, that was one of the most problematic moments for swing voters. We saw it in the focus groups afterwards. People said, I can't accept that. And so, that is an extraordinary thing, and I think she has to use that extraordinariness, in her campaign.
And speaking of unusual tactics at campaign rallies, one of the things that Harris did yesterday was actually put Donald Trump's comments, his recent comments from over the weekend about the enemy within, about using the military, on a big screen and playing it for people at the rally. And then the campaign also cut. Let's play a little bit of this ad that they turned around and cut immediately, hitting Trump on these comments. Watch.
The worst people are the enemies from within.
The enemy from within are more dangerous than Russia.
We have some very bad people. It should be very easily handled by the military.
I do remember the day that he suggested that we shoot people on the streets.
A second term would be worse. There will be no one to stop his worst instincts.
So meanwhile, Brad, I take your point about needing to be forward-looking. In many ways, that they're trying to get people to look forward at that.
Yeah, and again, I think there's the problem, there's a disconnect. They also have some good ads where they go through a lot of Trump's former cabinet members saying he's not fit, we can't do this again and all that. The problem is I just think for a lot of Trump voters, again, Harris isn't actually trying to reach Trump voters at this point. Harris is trying to reach people who are on the fence or may just not want to vote. But I think that for a lot of people, they say, well, they said all of this in 2016 about him, how he's going to be dangerous and all that kind of stuff, and he wasn't a problem. And what they're not factoring in is that the people who held him back, the circuit breaker people, aren't going to be in this administration. So it's just a different equation than the last time.
Right, and making that argument is pretty tricky.
Let's bring in CNN's Isaac Dovere for more on this. Where do you want to begin? What exactly happened last night?
It's a little bit strange to even wrap our heads around, Kate. Donald Trump was doing an event that was meant to be him speaking, a town hall, answering questions and talking about what he would be doing as president. There were some medical incidents. 2 people, for one and then another, collapsed, were being treated, and Donald Trump just started to ask for music to be played instead. And then he danced. But look, I can talk about it. I think we should just take a look at what happened there last night.
Go and vote. Let me hear that music, please.
Everyone, let's thank President Trump.
Nice and loud. So play YMCA. Go ahead. Let's go. Nice and loud.
Here we go, everybody.
And so that's what we got out of President Trump with 3 weeks to Election Day here. We did not hear a lot about his policy proposals or what he is saying he would do right now. We got a lot of dancing for about 40 minutes last night, Kate.
Honestly, people there, they were there for it, that's for sure. There for his playlist and there for the dance moves. I want to ask you about kind of the new tactic of Kamala Harris as well, playing clips of Donald Trump during her rally last night to drive her message in a new way that she calls him dangerous and unstable. She's now headed to Michigan today. What are the plans?
What she's going to be doing in Michigan is highlighting something that she rolled out yesterday. It's called an economic opportunity agenda for black men, trying to make that case to black men around the country, that especially younger black men, that she should be the one with their vote. And she'll be doing that in an appearance with Charlemagne the God, the radio host for the Breakfast Club, talking about all of those things. But she's also taking, with 3 weeks left here, a pretty stringent stance against things that Donald Trump has been saying. And her approach has been to not just talk about them, but to let people see it for themselves. So one of the clips that she has talked about is this comment from Donald Trump a couple days ago that there is an enemy within that might need to be dealt with by the military. Let's take a listen to what was said there.
He considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country. He wants to send the military after American citizens.
And that is her speaking about these comments from former President Trump, that there is this enemy within, leftist, radical people, he said, that might need to have the National Guard or the military brought in to deal with them. And those are comments that Harris wants people to be focused on when she thinks about what a Trump presidency take two would be.